Hello, this is Cresso, and I'm here for my 7th part of the Human Journal. And I'm going to talk about 3 things. In this journal, I'm going to talk about the idea of celebrity, politics, and a lot of these religion faith that a lot of us grew up with. I did create a clip on these topics, but I feel that I gained more insights from the time that I created these clips on these individual topics. And I've been talking to my friend of mine and about these 3 things, and it's fascinating that these 3 things that I call these 3 things, it's like the bedrock of humanity: celebrity, politics, and religion. And I'm going to talk about how, because of these ideas, how it bridged through our belief systems, simply how we feel about ourselves. Again, I already created clips on these individual topics, but I'm going to basically bridge all this stuff and how all this stuff connects. And these things that I'm about to talk about, it impacted me too. And it's amazing that how we all through these belief systems, how we basically allow it to basically shape our lives in one form or another. I'm going to start off with celebrity. Okay, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter if the person is an actor, actress, singer, or athlete. It doesn't matter. It could be somebody from a reality show, whatever. I find it interesting that when we go on the internet, when we go to these, when we go to the sign up, before you sign up to these social media, one of the forefront of these see on these social media is a celebrity, a politician, or they'll just have an icon of a religion symbol. And again, these 3 things seem to be a very heavy influence in our lives, no matter what part of the world you're from. And I realized that the social media is a perfect marketing tool. For example, I'm starting off with celebrity. It's a perfect marketing tool for celebrities because you see, the people that are celebrities, they are basically a brand. I don't know, a lot of you probably don't know that, but a lot of people that's a celebrity, for example, they're, whether it's Hollywood, doesn't matter, but it's that they are basically a brand. So you have, everything is all about branding, and I analyzed celebrity for a very long time, this paradigm, and I don't have any ill feelings towards people that's, for example, that's famous. I look at the idea of this whole thing, celebrity, how we look at other people that's basically in a certain position in life. And just been analyzing this, how people behave and all that, how the magazines suggest a lot of stuff. It suggests basically to look a certain way because somebody that's famous that's basically have something. So we basically, we take on to that what what everything is being suggested to you. I emphasize that in a few of my other journal clips, that everything in life is a suggested idea. And yeah, definitely. It's amazing because somebody that's famous, okay, we hold them up and then we tear them down. Okay, that's this whole thing. I realize a lot of people want to be so famous. A lot of people do everything to get that. Let's say, for example, a 10-minute fame. So many people just want to be famous. Not everybody, but a good number of people. And they'll do anything to be famous. And it's just amazing. It's a big program. It really is. A lot of people that think that's the cream of the crop of life on earth, basically being famous. And I'm like, I look at these things and I'm like saying to myself, wow, that's pretty deep. You know, I never really, to tell you the truth, I never really cared to be a celebrity. You know, I had opportunities if I wanted to, but I didn't really care for it. I just didn't look at the whole thing that, I didn't really look at it like everybody gotta basically flock over to see me, you know, meaning like people gotta drop what they're doing, I don't know, it's just the whole atmosphere about it. I didn't really care about that. I don't really care about the red carpet and everybody taking photos of you. I understand this whole thing of a celebrity is all a game, okay? A lot of people, I see a lot of behavior, how people are. It is kind of like a cult. The idea of this particular idea of celebrity, it is a cult. And I see a lot of people, how they act, you know. If you talk about anything about Hollywood, or if you don't like someone, you got these beloved fans will attack you. Will say a lot of nasty things to you because you are basically insulting their beloved celebrity, somebody that's famous. Okay, it could be a fan, a diehard fan of somebody, whatever. And I just find this whole thing interesting, you know, because you see, the people, depends on the individual. I realize that the people that's a celebrity, they are afraid themselves. They are afraid. You know, my last human journal clip, I described that how we are slave to time. Okay, we're a slave to time by choice. I'm gonna put it this way also. When it comes to the idea of celebrity, okay, not saying everybody on this, but a good number of you are a slave to the whole idea of celebrity. And I will break it down very simple. Advertising, okay? I'm going to say certain keywords that the advertisers use. Get the look, okay? So you have somebody, let's say a famous singer, a big marketed singer, she's wearing such and such, so you want to buy that because you want to, get the look because she's wearing it. Because she's wearing it, you have to wear it. And everything is suggested, but you playing a game that you just have to get it. But then you ever ask yourself, why are you really getting it deep down inside, beneath the whole hype of trying to get something? No, I don't think a number of you, I don't feel a number of you really ask yourself a deep question. You just go with the flow, okay? And a lot of stuff, because advertisers, they understand about certain things thrown at people, and people feel a certain way about themselves. So you want to look, you like to grab some of that attention, just like the person that's advertised. Keep in mind, the person that's wearing it, she or he is just a brand. Probably the person doesn't even wear the product, probably getting paid to wear it. A lot of you probably think that she or he wears it every day. Who knows? Then you got I think a number of you will probably understand who I'm talking about. You have a basketball athlete advertising about drinking this particular soda, right? So because he drinks it, what does that mean to you, right? If you drink it, you're gonna be what? You're probably gonna be like him. That's what's basically suggested. A lot of you probably listen to this, probably may not take what I'm saying seriously. That's up to you. But you see, I see the psychological game with all this stuff, this whole celebrity thing. I really do, and and it's the purpose of me doing this journal, this part, because I just want to break it down to everybody. I'm going to pull the veil off this whole game that we put ourselves under. A lot of you do play the game that you just plain clueless. You think that's just all cool and that's just how life is and da 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 da. But I realize that I know there's more to life than these things. But I'm only sharing these things to inspire myself and to inspire everybody that's at a point of being open and seeing past these structures, that these things don't really define who you are. We become slaves by these ideas by choice. There's nothing powerful than you. So again, this is all for experience. I realize a lot of people do this. Not everybody, but a lot of people do this. So yeah, and like I was telling you earlier, that the celebrities that they're afraid. Yeah, some of them are slaves, some of them are afraid, and some of them are slaves. They're slaves just like you. They may get that nice check, that couple of $1 million, but there's been a good cases that a lot of celebrities feel like they're being used. Some of them understand the game of this. Some of the celebrities don't care. But a lot of them feel, again, I'll emphasize, a lot of them feel used. And that's just the whole thing. That's just how the advertisement or the whole gambit works. And, when I feel like, when you don't get the time out to say to yourself, like, or let me just put it this way, I feel. When you don't appreciate who you really are, okay? You see, you're going to attach yourself into these ideas very easy, and the advertisers know that. Because you have very little appreciation of yourself. Don't act like you do, because you don't. Otherwise, you wouldn't be piggybacking off or try to be someone that you're not. You're basically not being true to yourself. Okay? You see somebody up that's above you, and then, and the twist about this particular paradigm is that a good number of us will tear these people down. So yeah, it is a little bit of a recap of my celebrity clip, but I do feel I have more insight about this, and it's all about awareness. It's all about awareness, because you see, I feel that I feel that I am in complete control when I'm aware of things. And nothing really can control me unless I allow it, And it's just, between advertisement, it's just everything, the supermarket aisles, you see these magazines, sneakers, all that. And again, you see, I'm going to tell you straight up too also, this is going to be very, very direct. The advertisers really think that you're stupid. But are you really stupid? No. I tell everybody online that you're intelligent, and that's the truth. But to see the advertisers, we created this stuff, and everything is all for experience sake. You know, they look at you not only that you're stupid, but you're a slave. And so is the celebrities. But it depends on the individual. If the individual is strong-minded and know who or she is, I'm like, the person's gonna tell these advertisers or whoever straight up, you know, you're not going to control me or how I'm supposed to be. This is how I am, and that's it. Same goes for everybody else that look onto the celebrities and all the fame and all the glitter and all that stuff. You're gonna realize who you really are, and that these ideas doesn't really define who you are, because you have a greater appreciation of yourself. You know, I look at I go online and I look at all these photos. I look at these photos of these celebrities, right? And there's so many photos, tons of photos. You can type an actor's name and go to Google image. There's so many photos of that, and I'm looking at their faces. It's all a game. All this stuff, it's a game. I'm like, it's sometimes I find myself laughing because it truly is a game. And it's funny, I look around at other people, like a lot of people, not all, a lot of people think that is all to life. And you think that these people are better than you because of the fame and the money. And, you know, again, when you don't have a great appreciation of yourself, when you decide to not know who you are for the moment, yeah, you're going to feel that way. You're going to try to be someone that you're not, because again, this is how you feel about yourself. It's how you condition your mind. And that's the whole theme of all of my parts of the human journal. One of the biggest things about humanity, what stands out, one of the things is the mind. When you condition your mind, okay, I'll just hit to the basics, what I've been talking about from my previous parts. When you condition your mind, depends who you are, depends how you grow up, doesn't matter. When you condition your mind and have these belief systems, you see, your mind will produce its thought forms. Like I told you, this is my previous part. Your thought forms will create realities. So so you feel so low of yourself, and your thought form is going to line you up to things that basically to a reality that's going to suggest that to basically get you sucked into the whole hype about get the look, or you might invest whatever. You might get like cases of that soda to drink because you just falling for the campaign hype about I want to be like this basketball player and blah blah blah, right? And that's just how it is. If you pay attention, if you really stop, let's just say get out of your head and see this whole thing spiritually, you know, you will see that you are basically by choice. You're sucking yourself right into the whole game. I mean, no one's really a victim, because you see, I look at it like this. It's like, you know what you're doing. I'm just basically breaking it down to everybody. I'm just kind of like I'm basically either pulling the curtains or pulling the rug right under your feet. You know, it's just like, I do like to break things down. I do like to call stuff out, you know. I'm not better than anybody. I just know the game. If I know it, I see things from a different lens. So I'm just sharing it to everybody. So we got the Emmy Awards and stuff like that. A lot of us, we stay outside. We stay outside basically waiting to see a glimpse of this person. Sometimes it's so funny, these advertisers. It just how they. I remember in New York. New York is huge when it comes to celebrities. In New York, I used to read stuff. I used to read stuff in the newspaper or hear stuff on the radio. They'll talk about somebody's birthday, and I joked to myself. I said to myself, man, imagine a radio could advertise every single person's birthday, every single day. I mean, how many people you got in New York City? You got what? You got over 8 million people. You got over 8 million people in New York City. So I'm like, man, I was just thinking to myself, really, like, advertising, like, give a list of people's names of birthdays and stuff. Like, say, hey, you know, it's somebody's birthday, da da da. Like a whole list. It'll take days just to get people's names down. I'm like, I used to laugh about it. I'm like, because it's interesting because you're advertising somebody's birthday. I mean, part of me felt like so. I'm like, I did joke about it. But you see, a lot of you that's listening to this right now, you probably think I'm jealous. Not really. You know. Oh, actually, you know, there was a brief moment that I was jealous, but overall, not really. Because I look at them like, because you see, and I always looked this into myself too for all these years. Even though the years I didn't really know who I was, I just want to tell you this. You see, in my heart, I never really felt that one person's better than somebody else or one person deserved more attention than the other person. I never really believed that stuff. That's why I never really look at somebody that's in Hollywood, someone that's above me, or somebody that's just, because I'm looking at, see, at the time I look at this person as like, this person is just, it's just the same as me, you know? At the time, again, even though I felt like I wasn't from this world, whatever, but I'm in a human body, you know, and I'm like looking at this person's another human being. I'm like, I just can't see how this person is better than me. I came across a couple of celebrities, and I shook a couple of actors' hands and stuff, and like, you know, that was it. I have a conversation with a basketball player, one of the NBA pro basketball players at a pizza shop. You know, he wasn't the star. He wasn't the one of the major stars of the basketball team. But I ran into him in a pizza shop, and this was back in. I'll say this: he was part of the Chicago Bulls, but I don't want to. I just do my best not to say names in my clips. Okay, sometimes I do mention names, sometimes I don't, but. This player, he was part of the Chicago Bulls. It was the year 1995, I think. Yeah, I ran into him. He was in town in New York City, and I was a fan of the Bulls at the time. And yeah, I ran into him. I recognized him. We had a great conversation. It was like, I'm gonna share this with you. When I spoke with him, I was myself. I talked to him like anybody else. I wasn't starstruck. I mean, I don't care. He could be whatever. He could be. Let's just say if he was, let's say, a star player, I'll still be myself. I don't get the whole thing that people get starstruck. I never understand that behavior on that. I never. I guess you just get so shocked. I guess it's just I guess maybe it's some sort of level of joy, but it's interesting because the person is just he or she is just another person. But let's just put it this way: if the individual is from a different dimension, I still will look at them like I'll have appreciation, but I just don't have it in me to see another being or another human being better than me or something above me. That's just where I'm at. I've always been that way. So to go back, so I had a conversation, you know, with this basketball player, and it was great. You know, I was just telling him like anybody else. It's just that I so happened to run into him, and I recognized him. And I just had, you know, we just had a talk. I don't think I asked for his autograph. Maybe I did. I don't know. Whatever. But the point is that it's just how I thought of him. Yeah, I did talk about it with a few of my friends about it, but I never really I didn't make a big deal about it in a sense like, oh my gosh, you know. And then, you know, I realize some people shake somebody's hand, and I hear stories that people don't wash their hands because they shook somebody's hand. I'm like, I do my best not to judge through the years, but I just never understood that. Anyway, yeah, so I had a good conversation with him, and that was it. I had opportunities. I hang out in a radio station in New York City. I I think after high school I used to go into this radio station, and there's one person I know inside a radio station, and I used to go there, and I used to see. The reason why I go there is because I wanted to. I don't know. I just wanted to see how I'm able to get into the business, but I wasn't into singing or I wasn't into DJ. I just wanted to learn about the equipment, the sound equipment and stuff like that. I don't know. I just always have a thing for fixing things or something about equipment. But anyway, I used to go there whenever, and I kind of kept to myself. I talked to some people, and I remember, and I seen other people that came and visit the radio station, and yeah, I decided not. One day I just didn't go. Whatever, I just went on. But that's just my character, it's just my spirit. But I'm just saying these things as an example that I did have an opportunity. I just whatever. I just didn't go that route. Made a decision. But again, I realized, again, with the human being human, it's just everything is all about experience. Not just about being human, it's just life, period. It's just that I feel like some experiences it kind of like, I don't know how to put it. There's some ideas that keeps you from expanding spiritually. There's some ideas that will align you to expand spiritually, But even if you take an idea, okay, if you take on an idea that you don't expand spiritually, it doesn't mean it's too late, When you find who you are, okay, with your consciousness, when you find who you are, you will basically drop these things. It's kind of like, it'll just peel right off of you like old skin. That's the best way I could describe it. It's just that I realize a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people, and I analyzed this through people for years, and but yeah, it's all about, again, it's all suggested. It's all suggested for you to basically take on a particular idea, and we get sucked into it. Your thought forms will create your reality. And what else they got? They advertise somebody's drinking this particular, I said a soda part already, everything. This person's hair is this color, person gained weight, person lost weight, somebody is famous, and I see how people react. Like, for example, the women. I feel that I really do my best not to basically describe people as victims. I don't know. I'll do my best, but as I'm recording this journal, I'm going to express how I feel and what I observe over the years. But I realized that the magazines and the makeup product really target women very, very hard. Very hard. More than the guys. That's just my say. That's just my take on it. And, I was just having a good conversation with a friend of mine, and she recently basically woke up to the whole game. She understands about the whole thing, about the whole celebrity thing. And my take on it is very similar to what she thinks, even though I'm a guy. And yeah, for the women, you got, if you're not beautiful like this person that you see in a magazine, then you're unattractive. You're this or that. A lot of you, I would say a good number of you probably know that these magazine companies, what they do is that they Photoshop the image. So your beloved famous person doesn't really quite look the same. It's just that it looks glamour. You know, it's all about glamour. It's all about basically, it's so subliminal, you know. So yeah, a lot of that stuff, a lot of this magazine that you see them smiling and sparkling smile and all that, and the hair and everything, and the makeup, yeah. The big boost that they get is the Photoshop. So yeah, a good number of you know this. A lot of you probably don't, you know, but you get sucked in to the suggested idea. You say, oh wow, I must look like her. And if I don't look like her, or if I could just get her weight, they advertise that this person lost this much weight. And it tells you, how did she do it? And then you have to read about it. So if you don't like lose weight to be like this person, then what are you? Right? You probably say that you're a loser, you're unattractive, right? I go on and on. But you see, this is again, it's all suggesting. The advertisers know that you don't have a greater appreciation of yourself, and that's why these ideas see the magazines, your thought forms created the magazines. It's a reality. Right? It is. Again, when we hold on to belief systems about ourselves, everybody, your thought forms will create the reality. They will create the reality to serve you. They will create a reality that's not going to serve you. And this is how it works. There's no coincidence to this. I mean, there's no secret. It's just blatantly in front of you. Some of you decide to wake up. Some of you decide not to wake up. Some of you decide to stay in your sandbox in a nice slumber. You want to be asleep? Okay, be asleep. But me, I'm just basically expressing my thoughts in my journal, how I analyze people and myself. So yeah, that's the thing, you know, that's it, you know. Guys, same thing with the guys in a way, not as strong as the women might take on it now. But yeah, guys, you know, I've seen some stupid advertisement on guys about beef, having a workout. You ever browse on the internet and they got these spammy advertisement of a guy look like, I've seen pictures, I kid you not. I know it's all Photoshop. I never forget there's an image of a guy that it looks like straight from a comic book. His body is like, he has no waist, but his chest is big. It's like 10 times the size of Superman's chest in a comic book. I'm like, but it's suggested that you want to look like that. So the advertisers, again, like I told you, advertisers think that you're stupid and that you're a slave. Now, even though I woke up and I understand how this whole game, it doesn't mean that it's not going to suggest things to me. It's going to suggest. But the thing is, I decided not to take on a suggested idea. I come across that, I laugh about it, but I just go on with my business throughout my day. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of stupid advertisements, especially for the guys. You got magazines too. You got a guy all cut up next to a woman and all that. I mean, I appreciate there's some things about it you want to be fit, but if you look behind that, you want to look like this guy, right? But how do you feel about yourself? Let's just step outside of that. How do you feel about yourself? Okay, you may want to change your look. You want to gain a few rips, work out and stuff like that. But are you want to look like you, or you want to more focus on the guy? Because you see, the subliminal message on the magazine for the guys is very similar to the women. It's just that, the investment is more stronger for the women. Women, I emphasize this on a few of my clips. Women, I realize women are emotionally built different. Okay, women are very emotional. Not every woman's the same. There's a lot of women that I've seen through the years that's not all about high maintenance and all about the makeup and the weight thing and all of that. But yeah, there's some women don't care. But a good number of women do care. A good number of women care. I'll tell you the truth, everybody. through the years, because I understand about women product and I read the statistics. Do you know how in the U.S., I believe in the U.S., women on makeup products, okay, women spend just about billions of dollars, billions is being spent on makeup products here in the U.S. I think makeup products and hair products, but I think more on makeup products. Billions, okay, billions, and I thought about years ago, I thought about buying stocks on a particular makeup company, because I understand that it's always, I say to myself, that's just money right there. But I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm glad I did it though, because I'm going to invest. I'm basically, if I would invest, this is my take on it. If anybody's doing this, buying stocks on women products, that's up to you. I'm just telling you how I feel. I just didn't want to invest in money out of women expense of how they're basically not feeling appreciation of themselves. Now, I know it's a little tricky about, we all want to buy stuff, right? Because we want to look great. Okay, and that's cool, that's great, but I feel that if you, again, there's an energy behind all this. If you don't love yourself, right, and you say to yourself, I am ugly and I'm beautiful with this product, that's something that you need to really check yourself out with that. Because you see, you are giving in what the advertisers suggest. You're a slave. Then obviously, if you go to these stores, they have they call it makeup, celebrity makeup, or whatever you want to call it. They have a famous actress. You go to the makeup aisle alone. Every picture that you see, every face. Back then in the early 80s and the 90s, I used to analyze this real carefully. They used to have more models, regular models that you don't see on a big screen. Regular models, right? But now, between guys and women, now you see someone that you see on a blockbuster movie, right? Because the advertisers knew that, okay, if some actress that's very popular, right? If we could just hire her into a makeup product, boom, our revenues will increase. And that's how it works. See, our thought forms created that. It's a reality, it created that stuff. So yeah, you get sucked into it by choice. So you want to look like someone, right? Because again, I'm going to emphasize, you don't have a great appreciation of yourself. And again, don't play like you do, because you don't. You see, I'm only going to share this to people that's at a point willing to wake up and actually see this whole game, and also at a point of leaving the whole game behind, if you want to. So anyway, so yeah, that's just how it goes, I mean, the makeup aisle, the clothes aisle, but I know I'm talking a little bit about the women, but yeah, very, very, very brilliant, the advertisers, very brilliant. Magazines, everything, all that stuff. And yeah, a lot of celebrities, I realize not all, but a lot of celebrities are like politicians, it's funny how the whole thing paradigm works. You have one celebrity will bridge itself into an actual political figure that's running, right? And it's very clever, because you see, it's like this. I'll just put it like this. If so-and-so that's so popular, right? Okay. Is basically, let's say, is a Republican or Democrat, right? That will definitely boost the candidates that's running. It's like endorsements. Basically, that's what it is. It's endorsement. So the celebrity as a brand or her or himself is a brand, yeah, is going to endorse this political figure. You see how the whole thing is? That's why I want to say this too. I want to get on to the next topic, politics. We're definitely, by choice, we are a slave to these ideas. Yeah. It's just that You get controlled so easy by these ideas. So somebody that's a famous actress or actor is saying, vote for so and so, blah 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 blah, right? And you're gonna go ahead and vote because somebody that's in Hollywood, for example, suggested, and you buy into it. You know. So yeah, a lot of celebrities, yeah, they're they're politician. Okay. It's funny. The funny thing about all this is that you see celebrities, they have to walk a thinner line. You know, they're controlled in a sense like a lot of people are. No one really controls you, but we play the game like somebody's controlling us and somebody could actually dictate us. That's the thing about humanity. We play this game that somebody could actually dictate our lives. So let me go back to say with celebrity. Celebrity walk a thinner line. One of the big concern about a lot of celebrities, depends who it is, one of the biggest concern is all about image. Yeah. It's all about image. And the hypocrisy, all that in it involved. So basically, you see, if a celebrity does something, right? If they've done something that's unheard of, right? Right? Basically, they're gonna be ridiculed. They're gonna be like, I can't believe, how can you do something like that, right? This is the part when we bring them down, hold them up, and then we bring them down. So yeah, they gotta walk a very, very thin line, right? And if a celebrity develop a feeling of like he or she needs to speak out, a good number of them basically will keep their mouth shut by choice because they gotta be careful. Some celebrities are afraid to basically rock the boat because if they rock the boat, the companies that basically sponsoring them, because again, keep in mind, celebrities are a brand. You see, if they say something to rock the boat, okay, they basically they give into fear. So I want to keep things nice, you know. Have a smile. I have to smile, even though they don't feel like smiling. But they're being suggested by the image consultant that you have to smile, even though you're not happy. But smile. So you got to smile, wave, photo op, boom, 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 all the photos, all that, right? So yeah, it's kind of like a politician. You're basically becoming a plastic. You're just all plastic. Your hair's stiff, you're plastic, you got a plastic smile, all that. But not everybody, but a good number of celebrities does this. It's been doing this for years. So it's gotten a lot more ridiculous now, but you know, it's just everything is suggested and we give into it. So yeah, a lot of celebrities, not all, don't want to rock the boat, okay? Because they're afraid about their image. It's all about image. They're afraid about losing their endorsement. They're afraid about losing their contract. Maybe if it's an actor, they're afraid they're not going to be hired for a nice script to get that whatever. Maybe that Emmy Awards. Because the Emmy Awards, you see, if you get the award, right? Or the Oscars, I get the awards mixed up. Who cares? But if the thing is that, and I learned this years ago, that if the actors that get these nice awards, or let's say the Globe, you see, that's like putting their resume. That's like you have that in your resume. It's like you're guaranteed to get a high contract, a role that's worth millions. So a lot of actors, actresses, they love the awards. But you see. But if they have something, if they have a conviction of something, they want to share something, let's just say something that's off the grid, they don't want to rock the boat. No. And this is what I was telling you. Celebrities, even though you see them with the glamour and the money and all that, they're a slave too. They're not going to admit that. Oh no, they won't even admit that they're a slave. See, that's the beauty thing about the whole paradigm. They won't. It's just like a politician. You can tell a politician bluntly, straight up, about how everything is all twisted up, and you can break it down how everything is spiritually. And let's just say you could just be the most logical person, and the whole bunch of stuff is so BS. A politician would just smile, maybe shake your hand, and just maybe kind of, go to the next topic. Next question, please. So, the thing is, everybody, it's all a game. It is. It really is. On Twitter, I follow some celebrities. I do. But then again, I really don't care to follow. I mean, again, I don't have no ill feeling towards anybody, but I realize I look at the tweets, I look at what they say very carefully. It's very constructed, very perfectly. Nothing like out of the road stuff. Oh no. But there are a few actors. There are a few actors that just point blankly don't give a damn. They are very expressive. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the ones in Hollywood or in the entertainment business or whatever that's just basically act like a renegade. I appreciate that. Because they show that who's really in control. The advertisers and whoever that's signing their check for them, who's really in control? So the ones that don't give a damn, that shows that person's in control. Because they're not giving into the fear and all that stuff. So yeah. The thing is that, it's all about image. It's very, very important that a celebrity, depends who it is again, it's very important for them to maintain an image. Again, you don't want to rock the boat. You want to get that record deal. You want to get that cushy role that you like. You don't want to get not picked. Before you know it, you're gonna realize, like, I haven't been calling for a role for a while. What's going on? It's because you open your mouth, you rock the boat. There's a lot of celebrities, because I know deep down inside, I know a good number of people, and I'm going by my heart here. It's a good number of people know there's a lot of stuff that goes around, it's twisted, but they just make a decision not to talk. But I do follow some people on Twitter, A lot of stuff that I talk about, okay? A lot of stuff I talk about is like rogue. I will admit it. I'm a being that's all about rogue. I'm a renegade. I give a 2 cents about any laws that we all created by spirit. So if you want to call me a lawbreaker or a rule breaker, okay, thank you very much. Matter of fact, I don't allow these things to scare me because in spirit I created that stuff. The same goes like everybody else. So I think I cover a good portion about the celebrity deal. It's not just you, everybody. That don't show a great appreciation of yourself. You see, the celebrities, when they decide to not show a great appreciation of themselves, right? See, by choice now, they're going to align themselves with stuff that you basically gonna have to be a slave. You got to be a slave to your image. You got to be a slave to your check that you get, your multi-million-dollar check. So yeah, you're a slave to those things. That's it. And smile for the cameras. Yep. Basically look all plastic. It's just, I mean, might as well put yourself in a wax museum. I mean, why not? You just stand there and have your hand waved. It's just that no different than a wax statue. Really not. In other words, you're just fake, but it's by choice. Anyway, moving on to the next topic. Again, this is not anything to do with the individual itself. You see, it's the ideas that I talk about. It's these ideas, that we become a slave by. And everything's by choice. That's the beauty thing about life. Nobody really has any power over you. To go on with politics. Politics. I always talk about politics a lot. Yeah, politics. Politics basically is like this, everybody. It's very similar to celebrity, but, I realize in humanity that when you have a politician that flip-flops, okay, a lot of people look at them like, I can't believe you flip-flop. But the crazy rule about being being a politician is that you're not allowed to flip-flop. If you change your mind radically 180 degrees, people are going to complain about you. You're not going to it's going to hurt your credibility, your credential. Or let's just say if you want to run for a particular position, people are going to look at you like they can't trust you because you made a decision of your own right to change your mind on a particular subject that you, at one point, you believe that, I don't support this. And then if you decide to support something that's the complete opposite thing I realize about humanity, people get all up in arms about that. It's very fascinating. So yeah. It's amazing. It's like, and then a lot of people, we gravitate to these perfect couple, or let's just say the ideal perfect American family, right? They don't have any problems, everything's just perfect, it's like the good old American way, the good old American dream, kind of everything's all, nice, perfect, right? All that. But there's a lot of holes in that stuff, There's a lot of holes in politics and all that. It's just amazing. I know I talk a lot about politics in a lot of my clips. We become divided with these parties, the Republicans and Democrats. We become divided. We go by these laws that we created. And my friend was talking about how the law system works. It's about obey the law, be this good citizen. And it's funny. We talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about how America's freedom is built on rules. And it's interesting how she put it, because I have my own take on it, very similar. For her angle is very interesting. America's freedom is built by rules. It's not the actual freedom that we all, the definition of freedom. So a lot of us, we get sucked into this. We become a slave to these things. And then these laws, it's like, she put it like this, that she put it that basically the laws is just, you see, if nobody breaks the law, right, that we put out there, it's so weird. If nobody breaks these laws, the system is not going to make money. It's designed for you to break the laws. That's just how the system survives. It makes money off of you breaking the law. You think that, and you're probably feeling maybe because the laws, having some law and order just to keep you safe, but not really, please. Society's been happening. I realize humanity didn't always have this law and order stuff. It's just that it's been brought upon for the past over 50 years or so or more. I don't really have the date. I don't really care about it. All I'm telling you is that the whole system that we put together is based on money and linked to politics. So we got these lawmakers that we put in position, right? But again, if you don't break a law, it's not going to make money. And it would aggressively try to suggest for you to break the law or do certain crazy things. And I'm like, wow, it's fascinating. We had a great conversation recently about this. I'm like, wow, a lot of us feel like it's the only way to be, it's to be divided with these political parties. And not just here in the U.S., other parts of the world, we got communist politics. We feel powerless to control these things, meaning we feel powerless by choice now to remove these ideas of politics or government, because you feel that without control, you fear that it's chaos. So you need to be controlled by somebody. That's the whole thing too. So yeah, and fear, it's all this whole thing. It's all tied together, fear and all that. And we, especially here in the U.S., Here in the U.S., you fall for the same game every year, every 2 to 4 years, every 2 to 4 years. It's always the same stuff. And and I feel like this whole thing with the politics, it is a cult, or I could say it's like a trance. Like so many people under a trance. I go on Twitter and I see stuff on my Twitter line, and I see people talk about the most ridiculous stuff, but it's by choice. You talk about so and so that's basically either gun rights or fair tax laws and other stuff. I'm like, man, people just still, making themselves as a victim and doing all kinds of stuff. Talk about stuff that's so. There's no it's not anything. There's nothing meaningful about these things. But a lot of us, you play like you have no power. It's just you play yourself as a victim. So, yeah, it's just we continue being divided, and I see this for so long. It's like, man, like people just really think that they're holding on to this idea. They think that it's going to basically improve life. It's really not. And I see that. I literally see that. And we're a slave about these when it comes to politics, when it comes to these political ideas. We are. Some of you are afraid to speak out. Some of you are afraid to stick a middle finger to the American policy. Just an example. It could be a Russian policy, Chinese policy, whatever. Because you see, a lot of you, not all, are afraid to rock the boat, to stick a middle finger of your political policies of whatever country you're from, because you're afraid, by choice, that you're going to say, oh, you're an anti-American, or you're an anti-Russian, you're an anti-Chinese, the Republic of China. You're anti-that. So you don't want to rock the boat. You want to just go with the pack. You want to just basically be a follower, just by choice. You say this is something that you believe, but then it's an idea that just basically keeps you in the same loop. But again, it's a choice that I realize a lot of people put themselves in the sandbox. A lot of these things that it could be done away with. You do understand that if you decide to put aside these ideas, these political ideas, and basically, let's say, mature spiritually, okay, when you decide to mature spiritually and work well together and create and build things, that you're basically improving the life quality on earth. You know that. But a lot of you just love the soap opera. You love your political soap opera. You think for example, here in the U.S. now, you think by being divided with somebody else because they are Republican and they are a Democrat, you think that you're doing anything good. You're not doing anything good about it. You're just maintaining the same idea every single time. But I share these things. I tweet these things to Twitter. I don't really care really if people don't retweet the things I say, but I do know that the stuff that I do put out there is in my tweet line, and I do know people see what I put out there. I do know that. So yeah, that's the thing. It's just that I'm just calling out, and honestly, I'm not afraid to basically point things out because I'm just breaking it down to everybody. No matter let's just say, no matter what opinion you might form about me in your head, that's fine. I'm gonna say this, is that I understand the BS so well. I obviously could see by choice. I've made a choice now. I've seen past these ideas. The thing too about here in America is that you feel that basically it's like, oh well, the system is not perfect, so you're gonna basically settle for less. You're gonna settle on an idea for less, and because you say, oh, it's not perfect, so okay, all right, so it's not perfect. So what are you gonna do now? You can just you're gonna maintain the same thing over and over. It's not perfect, but What are we gonna do? Wow. Okay. If you want to sell yourself short and sell you that story that it's not perfect, but you're gonna settle for less. Okay. Be divided. Fight the same petty stuff that you've been doing for the past over 50 years in a good old land of the free. Okay. Have fun with that. It's the thing about that. I realized I learned a lot. I gotta tell you, growing up in New York, I learned a lot. I learned a lot. There's a reason why I chose to start my Earth experience, especially in New York City. I learned so much. New York City is like a mecca of so much stuff. I'm not saying it's the world, but it's a melting pot of so many things. It's just a lot. I realized growing up that I felt like everything about the stuff they talk about, like politics and everything, I feel like there's a lot of things. It's like a circle. It's like a big old circle. It's like you keep going around and around and around and around and around and around. I'm like, damn, it's like the same thing every time. You got the stock market go up and down. Why the stock market goes down? Fear. A lack mentality. All the stuff goes on. Yeah. You think that it's funny. It's like we still keep thinking that if you vote for a Democrat or Republican, for example, you think that it's going to improve the world. But again, we playing this game that that's just how things are. I say this in my other clips that certain let's say certain politician will pass certain bills just to keep your mouth shut. And that way you able to vote for him or her again. You know that, right? I believe you do know that. I've seen this pattern, especially in New York City. Laws, let's say a particular bill. I'll just say this real quick. A bill that, let's say, a politician sworn that he was going to support, blah blah, right? But then he got into office, for example, right? But then there's there's a delay. He's giving stories like, oh, well, you have to go through the process, right? But let's just say the first half of his, before he wants to get reelected, you're wondering why he didn't pass this bill or push for this bill to be passed for whatever reason. But then it's a strategy what politicians do. Okay, you see, when it comes to reelected, then the politician will basically suddenly somehow he's able to push the bill, get the bill signed, because it's a game. He figures that, okay, I got this bill passed, I got all my voters happy. That's going to guarantee me most likely that I'm going to get reelected. Yeah. And I see this pattern. I'm like, man, it's like, wow. I saw that. I was analyzing these stuff really quick. I mean, maybe I guess I am a political analyst. I mean, I never really label myself that, but I see the patterns of how politicians do things. Very, especially maybe I'm in my early 20s. I start seeing things more and more, even though I still supported the system in a sense. I think the year 2000, I was at a point of like not want to vote anymore. The whole scandal and all that 2000 vote, but I think 2008 it was like the last straw. I know when Obama started becoming running for president, the whole thing because he's black and all that stuff, and I see that the system that we all put together in spirit, the system saying that, okay, and again, keep in mind too, I want to say this to everybody, the idea of politics, you see, just like celebrity, you see, you're a slave to that. And the idea that we created suggests that you're stupid and you're slow. So you're going to constantly fall for the same thing over and over. It will try to change itself, change the setup just to trick you. It's a game. You know that. It's like a video game. It's going to try to change things up a little bit. So again, back to what I was going to say about the Obama. This is a part I'm only going to say names, but whatever. Obama. He's not 100% black, but the system could do its best but to give you a mulatto. But hey, he's not white. He's not white. Wow, he's not, he's not a white guy with gray hair. So the system is going to basically do its best. It's the best. This is the best that the system could do. It says that the people in the United States are so stupid. Basically, is that they're gonna vote for somebody that's a different skin color. I mean, we couldn't groom 100% of a black person to basically be a president. So this is the best we could do. Of course, there's been backlash about this Obama, that he's not really from the U.S. and blah, 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 birth certificate and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, doesn't matter. The system's not going to listen to you on that note. But see, it gave its best to you. You see, the system broke the tradition of a white man being a president. So it gave you a mulatto. And there you go. Okay? So Obama successfully, 2 terms he got in, right? Because the people in the United States are stupid. That's what the idea suggests. So many people are outraged. He's still outrageous. I mean, why are you complaining? I mean, wait a minute. I mean, the system got you a minority. You're supposed to be happy, grateful, right? I mean, not all, for those that's Democratic, you're supposed to be happy. I mean, even someone that's a Republican, people that's a fan of Republican, at least, come on. You got a first time in United States history, you got a minority. That's a president. I saw this whole thing was a bunch of BS. I'm like, you know what? I got tired. I was at a point that I was just so tired of the whole political stuff altogether. I just got really tired of it. I'm like, I just did. My vote didn't count. I did vote for him. But my vote didn't count because I voted for I wasn't part of that district. So my vote didn't count. I was so happy. I'm like, wow. So now, for what I last checked, okay, for those that still believe in the political system, okay, look like we have Hillary might run. Okay, she says she's not going to run. A lot of these politicians play that game. Oh, I'm not gonna run. I might run. Maybe I might run, right? So that's another game that politicians play. Get you all hyped up. It's all part of the drama. It's the excitement. So I see that. I heard about it. Not that I keep tabs on it like that, but I hear stuff. And so yeah, it looked like the system might try to suggest for you to have a woman president. So yeah, if you have a woman president, the world will be better. Yeah. Yep. Again, the idea suggests that you are stupid and slow. So yeah, it's going to basically get you a woman president. It's going to suggest that, say, hey, look, everybody always fantasizes having a woman president. Here's your chance, right? So that's just how it works with the celebrity with the political paradigm. So yeah, it's interesting how the whole thing works. It really is. It's just amazing. But again, all these things is suggested. All of that. Okay, it is. And what else? We got religion, faith. Yeah, religion, faith. I'm gonna move on from politics. So. But yeah, religion, faith. We basically got somebody that's basically, we got all these different type of religion, faith, right? So many different religion, faith. I created a clip on religion, but a lot of us this particular idea is such a very, I tell you this, religion, faith, whether it's Muslim, Christian, Catholic, Jehovah's Witness, whatever. It really, I tell you this to tell you the truth, everybody. This is the kind of idea that really, it really gets you psychologically. It's suggested that when you don't, and it goes back what I was saying to you about the political party, politics and celebrity. When you decide to not know who you really are and you don't have a great appreciation of yourself, yeah, these ideas are going to come at you. It's going to suggest these things to you. So for somebody, let's say that you want to join any of these religion faiths, and you're going to do it for, let's say, some of you might join because various different reasons. Maybe for a woman, right? You're going to meet a church girl. It could be various reasons, you know. You become a religion faith because you want to change your life. You feel lost. You have no direction. That's the game that you play yourself. You have no direction in your life because you just decided for a moment, you decided not know who you are, right? So you're lost. You play the game that you're lost, and that's how the religion faith, especially Christianity, for example, because I was a Christian. It's gonna become the savior. It's gonna come and reel you in like a fish. You ever seen those little fish icon behind these cars? Yeah, you seen that? Yep, that's a Christian, and that person is proud. Yep. So yeah, for example, Christianity will reel you in, catches of men, reel you in because you don't know who you are, you have no direction, and you wonder what's going to happen to my life after I die. And am I saved? So yeah, a lot of you will play this game that I need to be saved. Some religion faith, Muslims, very similar to Christianity's. Some of you might basically want to go by your faith because of a particular religion figure. Okay? And it really, you know what? This idea, it's like so many people are slaves on this idea. You may not see it because you decide to be a slave by choice. But so many people, it's like you feel like you just want to be so righteous and so holy, and you figured that you just you're doing great for the world. But then you realize that you're allowing the idea itself. You created an outside God. Okay, this is the thing about consciousness. Consciousness creates an outside God to worship it. It's like, wow, that's just what a lot of people do. I did it for a moment, even though I kind of question a lot of stuff, but I did it for a moment. So I'm not recording my journal to say I'm better than anybody. I done it. Everything was all about experience. That's what it's all about. It's all about experience. So yeah, we did it, and that's just how the game works, So yeah, it's just that we become a slave to these ideas, We follow, will depend, a lot of you grow up with this religion belief. Your parents tell you that for example, you're a Christian for life, you're a Muslim for life, you're a Jehovah's Witness, and you got to follow these things, okay? You have to follow these things. And if you don't follow these particular belief systems, right, this religion faith, something's going to happen to you. Where are you going to go? See what I mean? You become a slave. It's fear. Religion is built on fear. A lot of you don't realize that. You decide not to realize that for a moment until you decide to wake up. But yeah, it's not only suggests fear, but it divides. You're all divided. You all worship your gods, and you play the game of being divided. One God is better than any other God. Which God is the real God? Which Bible is the actual truth? You create a book. Okay, we create a book to basically tell you that this is giving you a life application. Yeah. It's funny, I realized when I was a Christian, the Bible talks about how God gives man free will, some outside God. But the funny thing is that you see there's a string attached to it. It's kind of similar to the American idea of freedom. The American idea of freedom is built on rules. There's freedom. Oh yeah, well, there's freedom. But if you do something rogue, right? If you do something, you're condemned. You're going to be punished. So yeah, the outside gods say that you have free will. But if you decide to sleep with a lot of women, right? And you refuse to repent, but you sleep around a lot of women, right? I mean, this is free will. What's going to happen to you? What's going to happen to your salvation? Your salvation's at stake because you decide to sleep with a lot of women. You decide to do certain things. Okay? So yeah, you're being basically held captive, basically by a religion faith. And that's just how it works. It's just the truth, everybody. You know, it is. It's all suggested. But, you know, the beauty thing about it, we don't have to take it, you know? So yeah, we're basically divided by all these belief systems. You know, that's just the thing is, we're just divided. And I'm like, you know, you think that you're bridging the world as one and you're not. I created a clip on religion, but I just wanted to I'm doing my 7th journal because you see everything in this world, okay, is mental and physical. That's the thing about humanity. But the overall thing that's dominant, that plays the background, is spiritual. Even though these religion faith claim to be spiritual, not really. I mean, it's basically, if you kind of break it down like this, and I'm going to do my best, everything's mental on that. Because you see, it's suggesting certain things to you. It's certain things for you to do certain things. And for you to feel safe, okay? It's a false idea of feeling safe. So if you don't do certain things, what is safe for you to do or what's required, there's something that's going to happen to you, right? It's a lot of things on that. So yeah, you know, I mean, we all have choices. I mean, you are freedom to observe any of these religious faith. I'm just breaking it down into simplest forms, you know, that we become a slave to these religion faith. You know, a lot of you probably may not want to listen to what I have to say. That's fine with me. You know, I can say this: it's never too late. It's never too late to wake up. That's just what I learned. And I'm like, it's just the thing I learned about people. It's like, wow, you know, religion. Some of these religion faith, they got these music. They got certain music playing, certain instruments, just to get you. It's all subliminal. I know I sound like a conspiracist, but it's all suggested to get you to make you feel so good, all holy, clapping your hand, all that, right? But the thing is like, wow, you know, I mean, it's funny. It's like, I mean, not, you know, there's people that observe certain religion, faith, and they don't always follow the rules. That's the thing. We set rules and we break it. It's so funny. It's like, wow, why we do that? Why we set rules in the first place? It's just so weird it's a weird thing about humanity. The things that we do by choice. We set rules and we break it. We create these laws, right? We create these laws. There's so many stupid laws that's been created, all right? In the U.S., right? A lot of stupid laws that we allow these politicians to pass and all that, pass these bills. And it's so funny, it's what weird, like, wow, we break them every day. Each and every one of you break the law. You break the law of your religion, faith, and you break the law of your political laws. Wow, that's amazing. I wanted to touch back a little bit about the laws real quick, about these political laws. You know, there's a lot of laws that we break, but you know the funny thing is that when certain laws become enforced, like, oh, you know, a lot of, like for example, at your job, right? Let's just say at your job, there's certain rules that your job have. A lot of people don't follow a particular rule. But because now suddenly, for convenience sake, now your job decides to say, oh, now we're enforcing the rule. So wait a minute. My question to this and to these political laws, the laws that's been put out there, okay, it's been put out there because you felt there's a reason, right? But no one's following it. But now you're going to put it out there that you're going to enforce it now. So you're going to actually do this for convenience sake. It don't make no sense at all. I realize this a lot throughout humanity. We put these stupid laws. We don't follow it, right? We break it. I mean, it just goes to show that you really can't control people. Law and order can never control people. Even rules at a job. I mean, really. It's just weird. It's just so weird. I'm learning so much about the human experience, about just being human. It's just so many stupid things. Oh man, it's a lot of stupid things. Wow. Let me just share this real quick. I'm sorry, I'm going off the topic of religion a little bit. There's a singer, right? Very popular singer. Very popular singer, pop star. When she was so popular back in the early 2000s and stuff like that, she was basically, she was so popular, right? The way and now the other thing is too, is that the way she dressed. The way she dresses, like, wow, my gosh, it's unbelievable. And it's funny, you would think that the audience would be women in their 20s, but no. Me and my friend was talking about this. A majority of that pop star's fans was girls. Yeah, girls dressing with bras and makeup and all that other stuff and all that. It's like weird. Wow. It's like I realize, that's just an example. It's like there's so many things that in American culture is so hypocrite. So it's just so much full of hypocrisy. You try to keep some sort of moral thing down, but then there's so much stuff that's within it that's just basically contradict itself. It's just fascinating. You try to be so holy, yet you don't even follow your own religion. But the thing is, if you do follow your own religion, you're like a slave. Are you free? You're not free. You're just going by a story that's been passed on to you by a book. And somebody that seems to be more holy than you, right? That's the thing that we created. It's just interesting. You see how this is what we do. It's just, but I gotta say this. This is my 7th journal. I know this one's a little longer. I have hope for humanity because you see all the stuff that I just talked about. It's all a transition. It's all based on transition. There's a lot of people I see in spirit right now mature enough to drop these ideas, like celebrity, religion, politics. You think that you need these things so badly, and you think that you're not going to survive without it. You think life is going to be chaos and all that. I'm going to say this, and I guarantee this. You may disagree with me now. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me. But I'm going to say it like this. When you decide to wake up and know who you are and have a great appreciation of yourself, those 3 things that I mentioned in this journal clip so far, you would drop it just like that. I guarantee it. I want to say 110% guarantee, or maybe 200. Let's just go for a nice 200%. This is how confident I am. Because I realign who I am. You guys say reconnected. I've seen so much of life. It's not just on earth, but spiritually. I'm like, I just know there's a lot of things more to life than the stuff that we hold up, these 3 ideas. Oh yeah, there is. And you're wondering, how do I do it? You're gonna have to make a decision from within. You gotta do things, the simple things. You gotta recondition your mind. You gotta say all the good stuff about you. Acknowledge that you are consciousness. You are source of life. You are. There's nothing below you. There's nothing above you. You are source of life. So that means you deserve all the great things of life. I mean, if you want to set yourself up for all the crappy things in life, okay, go ahead. All I'm saying, because you're source of life, myself, and no matter where you're from, you deserve all the great things in life. Doesn't matter who you are. So it's interesting about the human paradigm. We create these ideas. You build like an invisible prison cell for yourselves, and you think that's just life. Like, you think that this is the only way to be, and you just become a slave by choice. I'm gonna keep saying a slave. Your ego is probably ruffled up, but it's the truth. You're a slave by choice. It is hard for the ego. Somebody tells me I'm a slave. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to prove myself wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove myself wrong ultimately. And I'm going to do what I can to look into. If I was hearing someone like myself talking in an audio clip, I'm going to look into it. That's what I'll do. I'll look into it. Like, what is this person talking about? I'm going to look into myself. Now, I want to say this to you, everybody. Are you going to look into yourself? Are you going to see past all the stuff that I talk about and really see who you really are? And you're going to have a great appreciation of yourself? Or are you going to continue to play the game of being a slave? I mean, okay. Some people find it fun to be a slave. It's an excitement. It's like a rush. You know? It's like a nice rush. You're getting something out of it. I understand that. I understand that fully. You don't know who you are for the moment. So I know about the human paradigm. It's all about self-discovery. It is. It's all about, it's the joy of when you find yourself, who you are. It's like the biggest celebration of all times. I got it. I understand. Some people process differently. But you know what? Because life is infinite, it's never too late. It's not like your religion faith suggests that there's not enough time. You got to convert to this belief system, this belief, in order for you to be saved. You know? For Muhammad or Jesus or whoever, whatever figure that you worship. Hurry. Hurry. Convert to this religious belief before you're doomed permanently. So yeah, no, life is infinite. You can take what I'm saying or leave it, but life is infinite. It's truly infinite. You can decide to wake up and rediscover who you really are at any time. But it's not going to stop me from doing this journal. I'm doing this journal because I just want to share how I feel. Even though a lot of the stuff that I'm saying is very similar to the clips that I created. I know that. I understand that, but I still wanted to do this because I want to put them all together for a reason. To have a greater appreciation of yourself. To reshape your mind. You see, your mind is conditioned. It's conditioned in a certain way because you did it. You created your mind in a certain way. You have the ability to change or reshape your mind into a different form. Okay? Your thought forms. Okay? I told you, your thought forms could create a reality that's going to serve you or not serve you. And it's just how it works. So everything that I share to you, everything connects. It does. So I think I said a lot in this journal, and it's been a pleasure me doing the 7th part. I don't know what I'm going to talk about on the 8th part, but most likely I probably will do an 8th part. I'm inspired. I'm inspiring myself too. I'm not just inspiring everybody, but myself. I have hope. I always have hope, no matter what my mind suggests. I have a lot of hope for everybody because everybody's consciousness. Everybody. So, okay, until then, I will be back. Take care.